But at the end of the day, our job is not to babysit somebody, play hard, win some games. That's all we get paid for. We don't get paid to come out here and, try to babysit somebody.
Don't go to the comment section. Don't comment not another Ben Simmons video.
Why ain't no way, boy?
Because today what we have for you is absolutely substantial and literally insane. You have multiple members of the Philadelphia 76ers, from Joel Embiid to Doc Rivers, coming out and speaking on this insane situation that happened with Ben Simmons today, and we're gonna catch you up with everything. So we're gonna make this intro super short. Just drop a like, consider subscribing, turning on our notifications, and check out my social media in the comment section down below. And now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The Ben Simmons situation got absolutely out of hand today. So let me catch you up on everything. Essentially, where we left off last time is Ben Simmons' agency and Ben Simmons himself was really beginning to feel the pressure from the fact that he was getting fined a large sum of money for not showing up to training camp. Pretty much his agency hit up the Players Association and said, hey, there's a way that we could recoup all this money, correct? The money that we're being fined for Ben Simmons not showing up to training camp. And pretty much the Players Association told them, no, once Ben Simmons doesn't show up, this money goes from escrow to the Philadelphia 76ers and Ben will never see that money. So Ben initially was sitting out as a way to, I guess, hold out and protest the fact that he wants to be traded to any team but the Philadelphia 76ers. He doesn't care what team that might be. It could be the Sacramento Kings, the Cleveland Cavaliers, ideally one of the Los Angeles teams, although that doesn't really make sense, nor is that really feasible. And the reason why he hasn't been traded so far is this man's a former #1 overall pick, but after a very poor showing in the playoffs last year against the Atlanta Hawks, teams aren't really trying to trade for this guy. And if they do, the valuation that the Sixers have on Ben Simmons is significantly different than the valuation that other teams have on Ben Simmons. The Sixers are getting offers like Malcolm Brogdon in a first-round pick, whereas the Sixers are expecting 3 first-round picks and like maybe 3 starters. And that's where this situation gets ugly. Ben wants out. The Sixers don't mind him leaving so long as they get the right return for him. As a result, Ben Simmons decided to hold out so he could get what he wants, but clearly that wasn't working, and all that was happening was him losing a bunch of money. So that brings us to where we are right now. Yesterday, there was a bunch of footage that went viral of Ben Simmons showing up to Sixers training camp and practicing with the Philadelphia 76ers, but the man had sweats on and literally had his phone in his pocket, and it looked like he really just didn't want to be there. He was ghost walking through the drills, and look at this man. Does this look like a guy that is excited to be at training camp? Of course, Sixers fans and other people came to his defense saying it's practice. Who's excited to be at practice? We should take this with a grain of salt. But given the situation that Ben Simmons is in right now, it does make a lot of sense that he is doing this on purpose so the Philadelphia 76ers could feel some pressure to potentially trade him. But then we got to the point that we're at today. So at first we knew today was going to be a little crazy when Malika Andrews was the first to report this information, citing that the Philadelphia 76ers say that Ben Simmons has been suspended for 1 game for detrimental conduct to the team. So as a result, Ben Simmons will not play the Philadelphia 76ers opener at New Orleans on Wednesday night. A short time after, we get a report from Adrian Wojnarowski saying that Doc Rivers threw Ben Simmons out of practice today and the suspension came shortly after. So apparently the real reason why Ben Simmons got kicked out, and this is very consistent with what we got yesterday from the video footage of him at practice, is Ben Simmons' reluctance to physically and mentally engage with the Philadelphia 76ers since his return has been a consistent theme. So it's literally exactly what we thought and exactly what it looks like. The man is literally in training camp with sweatpants on and a phone in his pocket, barely walking through the the drills, not looking like he actually wants to be there. Currently, it seems like it's getting to a point where he's alienating his teammates. He's already been very disrespectful to his teammates in the past, turning back a plane of his teammates trying to convince him to come back, and it looks like now he's doing this blatant disrespect in the middle of training camp. Technically not training camp, but practice, but Woj continues by saying that Simmons was tossed early in practice essentially for a refusal to participate in the next stage of the session, sources tell ESPN. So I'm glad that Woj went out of his way to get the information that the reason why Ben Simmons was kicked out initially was because he refused to participate in a defensive drill, because I even think that's cap. I honestly believe that Ben Simmons was told, hey, this is the part of practice where we're all going to start working on our jumpers and getting jump shots up, and that's probably when he refused to practice.
Let's go home!
But hey, I'm a skeptic. You could tell me in the comment section down below if you believe Woj or not here. But if you think this is crazy, wait until you hear what Joel Embiid says about Ben Simmons, because the man literally goes in and you can just hear that he had it with Ben Simmons. Now, before we get to that, we got a word from today's sponsor, Bounty Sports. I want to give a huge shout out to today's video sponsor, Bounty Sports. Guys, you know me personally, I do love playing daily fantasy sports, and Bounty Sports is by far the best platform to do it on. They built a pick'em style daily fantasy sports platform that gives everyone a fair chance to win. It's incredibly easy to play and offers a fun, low-stakes gaming experience that'll get you a little bit more into your favorite games. Just pick the teams that you think will win the night's game, play against other fans, and win cash prizes. It's as simple as that. Bounty has contests for NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, MMA, soccer, golf, and more, and there's new contests that are live every day. Now, I always say the best websites will let you try their product for free, and that's what Bounty is doing with me here by letting you use my promo code TheFlightMike to get $5 automatically added to your account. So let's put this $5 to good use, shall we? Now, signing up is super easy. You just go over here and put in all your information and make sure you put my referral code TheFlightMike, and then once you're on the website, you do have multiple contests that you could pick from. So for NBA, let's go ahead and click on the NBA Pick'em. The start date is on October 19th, 2021, and all you have to do is pick your games over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm a huge Laker fan, but they seem to have a little ways to go before they establish that chemistry, you know? And then after you have all of your picks ready, you just have to click enroll over here. $1 to enroll to potentially win $27. So hopefully we could turn this free referral bonus for using my promo code TheFlightMike into some cash. It's as simple as that. Make sure you use my promo code to get the $5 free bonus, and hopefully you could turn out to make some money off of this. At the very least, it's an extra way to get more engaged and into the games. And thank you, Bounty Sports, for the sponsor.
At this point, I don't care about that man, honestly. That's not my job. That's those guys' jobs. You know, I'm only focused on trying to make the team better, win some games, play hard every night, try to lead, you know, the guys that we have here. So yeah, like I said, I don't really care.
So Joel Embiid clearly has had it with Ben Simmons, and you have to understand that Joel Embiid is considered to be the leader of this team, especially based off of what Ben Simmons has been doing over this past offseason. I think any chance of Ben Simmons being the leader of this team is absolutely dissipated into thin air. To be honest, I feel tremendous empathy for Joel Embiid, because in my opinion, Joel Embiid is one unicorn of a center in the sense that he still has a post game that translates into today's NBA. He's able to step back and hit the perimeter J. He's a defensive nightmare and a paint presence, and he has gone the extra mile to build his game around Ben Simmons' skill set. Do you think Joel Embiid really wants to be camping out at 3 all day when he could be dominating in the post? But he does it anyway just so Ben Simmons could succeed. Despite this, you're hearing things like Ben Simmons saying that this team was built around Joel Embiid initially, and he doesn't want to play with Joel Embiid anymore because he believes Embiid is getting in his way of having his career really grow. It's a bunch of nonsense like that, which one is extremely disrespectful to probably the most ideal teammate that you could have if you're a point guard or a playmaking forward or whatever you want to call Ben Simmons. And according to Adrian Wojnarowski, Ben Simmons declined several times to sub into a drill prior to getting thrown out of Sixers practice. So aha, I told you it had to do with with jump shooting, but get a load of what Doc Rivers had to say about Ben Simmons in today's drill. And you can tell that he's really walking on eggshells in this one. He doesn't want to slip up and say something to mess everything up the way he did at the conclusion of the 2021 playoffs. So it's actually really funny to see the differences in Embiid's interview and his head coach's interview.
What's the thing here now? You have a personal...
Well, today, not, obviously. We told him to go home. Hopefully at some point, yeah. It wasn't a big deal. Just told him he should leave then, and we went on with practice.
We've seen players get rewarded for this type of behavior before, like James Harden last year with the Houston Rockets. He would do all sorts of erratic stuff like clubbing and showing up to games in a fat suit apparently, before he eventually got what he wanted and got traded to the Brooklyn Nets. But in this instance, Ben Simmons to the Sixers isn't what James Harden was to the Houston Rockets. James Harden was a remarkable player. He won an MVP with the Houston Rockets. He got them into a situation of being extremely competitive multiple times and was significantly more dominant than Ben Simmons. The Rockets adored James Harden, and that's why he ultimately would get traded to the team that he chose. But Ben Simmons isn't necessarily in that situation. Honestly, he's coming off more as an entitled brat, and I think as a result, things aren't going to turn out good for him. But here's the interesting part here. What's going to happen? Because it's not like the Sixers would give up Ben Simmons for peanuts, and it's not like Ben Simmons could sit out every game until he loses money. It's kind of weird. I think the only logical explanation here is just watching Ben Simmons perform really horribly on purpose, so the Sixers have no choice but to trade him. But that's my take on the situation, man. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.